Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Nabila binti Muhammad Ishaq. Today I would like to present my final year project 1 entitled Thermal Comfort Evaluation at 3 Non-Air Conditioning Preschool in Malacca using CBE tools. I am under supervision of Technologist Amir Abdul Waping Muhammad Damanhuri. For introduction, according to PAU and PAU 2013, Malaysia is a tropical country. It is hot and humid all year round. The average temperature for daytime between 20 to 32 degrees Celsius, while for night is 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. Based on work of 2018, the student will have health problems due to indoor air quality and their productivity will be decreased. Next, according to Wang 2015, he stated that students in classroom would feel uncomfortable during learning and teaching process, and thermal comfort will affect the student because they are sensitive to the surrounding. For problem statement, first, it is to enhance learning productivity by having comfortable surrounding. Second, based on Nico 2015, it stated that lack of comfort causes environmental stress and produce negative trend. Next, changes of climate causing thermal comfort is hard to achieve as Malaysia is a tropical country. And lastly, based on Wakoki 2020, indoor air quality and surrounding temperature affect the learning process. In this study, there are a few targets to be given fully attention to achieve this objective. First, to investigate selected parameters of indoor thermal data at 3 kindergarten in Malacca. Second, to determine indoor thermal comfort preventive mean vote and predictive percentage of dissatisfied level using CBE tools. The scope of this research for this study are to analyze how thermal comfort correlate with occupant in non-air conditioned at kindergarten. Fan will be used as the mechanism of the research. Next, total of students involved in this study are about 20 to 30 students. Moreover, the parameters used in this study are air temperature, mean radiant temperature, air velocity, and relative humidity. Lastly, PMV and PPD will be calculated by using CBA thermal comfort tool. The significance of this study are to determine the thermal comfort of students during staying in kindergarten. Second, the high ambient of temperature will affect student focus. Next, it is to increase productivity of the student. And lastly, to propose preventive and control measures in the future. As for literature review of thermal comfort, I have found several references from various sources. There are 16 references for school, 19 for university, 4 for factory, 10 for offices, and 1 for others, which is thermal comfort in a car. Based on the figure 1, there are 6 parameters that influence thermal comfort, which are metabolic rate, clothing insulation, humidity, air speed, air temperature, and radiant temperature. There are 4 factors that affect the environmental factor, which are air velocity, relative humidity, air temperature, and mean radiant temperature. According to Priya and Kaja 2016, it stated that the high speed of air moving causes occupant feel cool, and the faster the air moves, the greater heat exchanger. As for relative humidity, Siren and Maiden 2013 said that quantity of moisture in the air will affect amount of certain temperature. And for air conditioning building, the humidity range for indoor is between 30% to 60%. Next, air temperature is changes of temperature towards human body through surrounding air, and according to Jamaluddin 2015, he said that the optimum average temperature will be between 23 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. Lastly, according to ASHRAE Standard 55, human body will be balanced by surrounding through heat transfer with constant temperature from imaginary room. There are two types of personal factor, which are clothing insulation and metabolic rate. Clothing insulation is very important towards an individual. It is because if you do not have enough insulation, it can cause an injury, such as frostbite or hypothermia. Different governments have different CLO according to ZAO 2019. As you can see on this figure 2, it shows the clothing with different value of CLO. Next, outdoor temperature will affect clothing insulation of occupants. For metabolic rate, it can be measured even if you do any activity or does not do any activity. 1 MET represents to 58.2 watt per meter square. Next, different activity and environment will affect the metabolic rate. As you can see in table 1, different activity have different value of metabolic rate, such as resting while sitting condition. The value for metabolic rate is 16 watt per meter square. There are two types of thermal comfort model, which are PMV and PPD. PMV is for index to predict mean value of groups, and according to Hassan 2016, the limit of PMV value need to be between plus minus 0.5. Moreover, based on Mohammed Kamal 2019, PMV can predict the thermal sensation based on 7 points of thermal sensation. Table 2 shows the 7-point thermal sensation scale. As you can see there, they are hot, warm, neutral, slightly cool, cool, and cold. Predicted percentage of dissatisfied PPD is used for people who is uncomfortable with surrounding environment based on EKG 2013. According to Kralikova 2014, stated that the value of 5% will be dissatisfied with thermal climate. In addition, if the total data is lower than 5%, it will not accepted as a part of PPD. Lastly, difference of thermal sensation and neutrality is different and not identical. Figure 3 shows the PPD as a function of PMV. Next is research methodology. As you can see here, this is my research project. So for site selection, it will be involving kindergarten students in 3 different locations and interval time. For the indoor sampling, all the findings will be referred from DOSH 2010. For example, total floor of area of the study and the duration to get the data, which is the parameter. For examples, air velocity, air temperature, mean radiant temperature, and relative humidity. Lastly, for the CBE tools model, the analysis will be conducted based on selection parameter using TSI VelociCalc equipment. Next is expected result. As you can see here, first, the data collection will be obtained at different locations. It is because different location has different optimal comfort by using TSI VelociCalc equipment. Second, by using CBE thermal comfort tools, the value of air temperature, mean radiant temperature, air velocity, and relative humidity need to be inserted. Next, the CLO and metabolic rate data need to be chosen according to available option, and the CBE tools will summarize the data for PMV and PPD quickly. Lastly, the data obtained will show whether it complies with ASHRAE standard or not. As you can see here, this is table 3, which is the data collection based on different parameters using TSI VelociCalc. There is a 4 parameter here, and the data will be collected between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So each parameter will be taken the value for 3 times to get the average. This is because the more the data taken, the average value will be more precise. As you can see in figure 4, this is the result when the data analyzed using CBE thermal comfort tools. As you can see here, when the data obtained inserted in each parameter, then we will get the value for PMV and PPD. The rate pointer, if the rate pointer get into the blue section, That means that it is complies with ASHRAE standard. Lastly, the Gantt chart. Based on this Gantt chart, it shows all the tasks that I have done for every week, starting from PSM1 briefing, writing the proposal, and up to the presentation of the proposal. This is the list for my reference in my studies. That's all from me. Thank you.